Hate her or like her, Mama Ngina Kenyatta is in that unique position where she has seen everything. From the last lap of the fight for Kenyan independence, to the situation today where her son is leaving the presidency after serving 2 terms, with a very uncertain future in the horizon, or so it seems. And so, she is extremely qualified to make a political comment, let alone the fact that she has a right as a Kenyan to comment on politics in Kenya, to express her views anywhere, anytime. But her recent remarks at the funeral of her cousin, deep in Gikuyu land, has generated a lot of emotion and a lot of negative comments from many Kenyans who do not understand the circumstances, either today or even before. I hope my show today will make a lot of things very clear. I hope my show today brings in a lot of clarity to those who want clarity, to those who want to understand, so that they'll be able to very accurately predict what is coming. And the old wise men of the Swahili community have a saying, asiyesikia la mkuu huvunjika guu. Those who don't listen to people who are older than them end up with a broken leg. And incidentally, what really annoyed some people was the fact that the former First Lady told us that some people are hurling insults all over the place. And maybe it has something to do with their upbringing. How they were brought up. Which is a fact, by the way. Because he matusi in Kenyan politics, these insults, I have no idea where they came from. Because even in the darkest Moi days, people never used to get insulted. This thing just started the other day. In my opinion, the response by Uasin Gishu women representative Gladys Boss Sholay was under the belt and completely out of order, because she said that even the president, the son of the woman who was talking, was insulting people just the other day. He was insulting Raila Odinga all over the place. That's what she told us. I suspect that the deputy president's men gathered somewhere and discussed this issue. And that is precisely where Gladys Boss Sholay got these remarks from, which she repeated in public, and which in my opinion were offensive, showing a lack of respect for somebody who's older than you, somebody who's much more experienced than you. Even when your mother makes a mistake, you don't respond. How do you do that? Upbringing, my friends, is important. And it doesn't matter if we're in a life and death situation of politics. It doesn't matter. Heshima, my friends, sio utumwa. Because in case you missed it, what Sholay was telling the former First Lady is, even your son, what about his upbringing? Because he was insulting Raila the other day. That's what she was saying. Totally unacceptable in my book. But very typical of the deputy president's camp. And that's the truth. Anyway, karibu sana to my show today, where I make quite a lot of interesting observations and indeed revelations. But just before the show starts, allow me a minute or two for the following brief message. Karibu sana and enjoy yourself. When God gives you a gift, it is not for you. It is not for your family. It is for other people. You're supposed to use your gift to change the lives of other people. And for those who seek happiness in this life, nothing will make a human being happier. Trust me, nothing on this world will make a human being happier than the knowledge that they have changed one person's life forever. Yeah? Now, I've been very fortunate to have been very gifted by God. And not only gifted, but also trained in the renowned University of Hard Knocks. Yeah? The harsh university of this life. And I feel very privileged and very humbled, yeah, to get to know all the time that I've changed many people's lives forever. I even know a couple of people who no longer come to this channel, not because they hate me, but because they are busy these days. So busy that they hardly have time, but they've regained their dignity. They're putting food on the table. They're doing a lot of things, amazing things. And all thanks to some books I produced, which you can see on your screens right now, that changed their lives. Not only did they get that idea that changed everything, but they also got the skills to be able to sell without looking like they're selling. Because it's one thing to get a brilliant idea to make money, but it's quite another to do it practically and get people interested and get somebody to actually pay you real money for what it is you're offering. It is also one thing to have a business that is struggling, a business operating way below its true potential. That's one thing. And it's quite another to turn around that business so that it prospers. You have plenty of customers. My sincere hope in making this short clip is to influence and change the lives of many more Kenyans, because that is my mandate. That is what I was born to do. And I felt that this is the perfect time. Many people have been hit very hard by the COVID manenos. Life has become very difficult, almost unbearable for some. Some businesses that were making serious money before Corona are now struggling. Others have shut down completely. There is no better time for these two amazing titles have produced. Yeah? 101 brilliant business ideas or money-making ideas that will thrive in the country called Kenya and well beyond, almost anywhere in the world. And how to get plenty of customers immediately, very quickly. For only $25, you can have both ebooks, life-changing ebooks. And for only $15, you can have only the ideas. Now you can see details on your screens right now. You will find full payment details in the description area below this video on YouTube. Go for it. I highly recommend it. And I have a suggestion. Maybe you're okay. You're doing okay. I would suggest that you get it for a friend. You get the books for a friend, a relative, or somebody you know who is having it very difficult right now. It'll help them. It'll change their lives. And you'll have helped me to touch one more life, to change one more life, because that is my mission. Asante sana. Enjoy the show. Two very major events in Kenyan politics have recently unfolded in quick succession. The former First Lady, Mama Ngina Kenyatta, dived into Kenyan politics in a way she has never done before, and appealed to the Mount Kenya region to back the president, her son, 100%. That was a very, very significant thing that happened. Of course, the other thing that happened that is extremely significant is that former presidential candidate Martha Karua formally officially joined Team Azimio. Now, in my view, that is a big sign telling us what to expect in the Mount Kenya region. Yeah. Of course, it still leaves the gubernatorial race for Kirinyaga, which will be the mother of all gubernatorial elections in 2022. Because we'll have Ngirishi, Waiguru, and Martha Karua facing off. Hapo nyasi ndo itaumia. Okay? Now, of course, it doesn't affect that, but it affects how Mount Kenya is going to vote. And I'm going to explain that in great detail, but in a separate video. In this particular show today, let us stick to Mama Ngina Kenyatta, because there's a lot for us to fully understand the full political implications. Now, in asking the Mount Kenya people to fully back President Uhuru Kenyatta, Mama Ngina Kenyatta also said that Mount Kenya should fully back Raila Amolo Odinga. To a foreigner or somebody who doesn't understand Kenyan politics, or to a young man, that is nothing. The president's mother spoke at the funeral of her cousin, by the way. Yeah, that's why she was in attendance. Deep in the Mount Kenya region. So the president's mother spoke. She said what she said. So what? What's all the hullabaloo about? What's the big deal? That's how it appears. However, I'm here to tell you, it was a very big deal. Very big. Kubwa sana. We. Now, I don't know how I'm going to start this, but let's go back a bit and imagine an imaginary situation. I'm hoping that this will get the message across. Let us go back in time to the 70s and imagine a room somewhere in State House. And present in that room, let us just imagine, were the following: President Jomo Kenyatta, Dr. Njoroge Mungai, the personal physician to the president, and also nephew, a member of the dreaded Kiambu Mafia, yeah, and a leading politician in the country, all in one. And then Biu Koinange, a very close friend and confidant of the president, and also his brother-in-law. Yeah, Jomo was married to his sister, I believe the first wife. Indeed, these were the people who were controlling Kenya at the time. And so in that room, let us just imagine somebody comes in and announces to all the people in there, you people, I wish you knew. I wish you knew what was going to happen in the future. Because one day, this first lady you see here, Mama Ngina Kenyatta, is going to stand up in public and fully support and back the son of Jaramogi Oginga Odinga for the presidency of the Republic of Kenya. You know what reaction you'd have gotten? People would have said, "Ebu lete huyu mzee chai," or "You want something stronger? Just relax, relax." Uko sawa, uliona daktari wa akili mwisho lini? When did you see somebody who deals with the brain and how people think? I kid you not. Such an idea would have been completely impossible to even begin to imagine. But folks, here we are. It has happened. So we need to understand why and how it happened, especially considering what has happened in the past. I believe this is very important. Now, incidentally, The only person still alive out of those I've mentioned who were in this imaginary meeting deep inside the State House is the former First Lady, Mama Ngina Kenyatta. Hardly surprising, because she was the youngest person by far in the room, in this imaginary discussion, meeting I've just described. But she saw it all. She was there from the beginning. And it seems it has pleased Almighty God that she'll be there at the end. At the beginning of what and at the end of what? Let me explain. The First Lady was there when the Ichaweri oaths were being taken to block the presidency from ever leaving Kiambu County, and especially to block the presidency from ever going anywhere near Luo Nyanza. She was there. Indeed, the former First Lady was there when the country was going through the last stages of the fight for independence. That is when she got married to Kenya's first president, Mr Kenyatta. And no dowry was paid for her. Many people don't know this. Not a single cent was paid to her family as dowry, as is the strict custom of the Agikuyu and many other Kenyan communities. And this was simply because she was handed over to Jomo Kenyatta as a gift. But that is a story for another day. Although I have videos on this channel that go into great detail about that particular part of the story. Today, let us just stick to what is very relevant to these latest utterances that have stirred up a storm in Kenyan politics and totally amazed and perplexed and puzzled older Kenyans who understand the implications. And shortly after she was given in marriage for free to Jomo Kenyatta, her husband was arrested by the colonial government and incarcerated. And she used to visit him, in the very dry, remote Kapenguria, where Jomo was held with other political prisoners. And later Jomo was moved to Lodwar. And indeed, our current president, His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta, was conceived when his dad Jomo Kenyatta was not a free man. He was still being restricted by the colonial government. They had eased his incarceration, but his movements were still restricted. And when the former First Lady gave birth to her firstborn son, incidentally at Pumwani Maternity Hospital. Yes, the one you know. And not at the Muzungu Nairobi Hospital. No, at Pumwani. And then a man called Mwai Kibaki, when he saw the bouncing baby boy, said he should be named Uhuru. And Jomo liked the idea, and so Uhuru it was. And by that time, people could smell independence. They could smell Uhuru in the horizon, in the atmosphere, very close. The First Lady was there when all this was unfolding. The first family and the family of Mwai Kibaki have always been staunch Catholics. And so, when Mwai Kibaki became the godfather, I think they called them that, of this bouncing baby boy called Uhuru, and then many decades later, the godfather handed the godson the sword of authority, effectively handing over the presidency of the Republic of Kenya to the boy whom he gave a name to. Totally fascinating stuff. The former First Lady was there. And then very significant, even after the Ichaweri oaths, towards the end of his life, Jomo seems to have changed his mind about the future of Kenya. Because the former First Lady was there one day when Jomo invited his vice president, Daniel Toretich Arap Moi to State House Nakuru and asked him to make sure that he came with 2 goats, mbuzi, and those goats were slaughtered and the blood poured on the ground. And the old man at the time interpreted this as the President, Jomo Kenyatta, blessing his vice president to take over the presidency after he's gone. True story, it happened. And the First Lady saw this. That is a significant piece of information, especially because of the recent manenos over the 1969 odds. Yeah. And one day, the First Lady was summoned by the President of the Republic of Kenya, Daniel Toretich Arap Moi, who was about to go into retirement, leave the presidency, and told, she was one of the first Kenyans to be told, that the KANU candidate in the 2002 presidential elections would be Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. And she was asked to support, both financially and in many other ways, this bid by her son to return the family to where it all started, State House, Nairobi. Now we know what happened. That one didn't work. But later, in the year 2013, it worked. And her son became president. And the former First Lady moved back into very familiar surroundings. State House, Nairobi. I'm telling you, if Mama Ngina Kenyatta writes a book, I'll not be able to wait to read it. It is bound to have super fascinating stuff that will help anybody understand our beloved nation, Kenya, much better. Yeah, she's a walking encyclopedia of Kenyan history, Kenyan political history, with stories you will never see anywhere, published anywhere, with stories you've never heard anywhere. Anyway, my apologies for getting carried away into history. But my main aim was to give you a perspective different from what a lot of older Kenyans would have concerning Mama Ngina Kenyatta, sanctioning, even supporting, backing Raila Odinga for the presidency. The really important thing to take note of here is that if Mama Ngina Kenyatta has backed Raila, something major has changed. Okay? Because it could have been much easier for her to remain silent, to remain in the background, with people not knowing what her stand is. Somebody who was there right from the beginning. But she chose to speak out. And by the way, she was not addressing Kenyans. She was addressing the house of Mumbi. This was the funeral of her cousin. And she was addressing the house of Mumbi. In fact, she spoke in Kikuyu. And so, in my opinion, it is very unfair for the rest of us, some of us, to come in and start weighing in, giving our opinions, which nobody asked for, over an issue that was discussed inside somebody's house, within a certain community. Hiyo ni mambo yao, nothing to do with the rest of us. Because what the former First Lady was telling the Agikuyu community was that they should fully back her son. Because as a leader, her son would not give them the wrong decision. Actually, she was saying, without saying it, that she was aware of how controversial the decision her son had taken was. But he was asking the Kikuyu people to trust her son in that decision, because it was the best decision for the house of Mumbi. It was the best decision for the Kenyan people. As controversial as it may sound to some older members of the community. She emphasized, your leader cannot lead you in the wrong direction. Therefore, this was definitely the right direction. Which means, walikuwa wamefanya mahesabu yao kikamilifu. They had done all their political arithmetic. Yeah? The president and his men have done all their careful calculations. And this is the best way forward, even for the community. That's what it was really all about. But then look what happened. The deputy president's camp came out with both barrels of the gun firing non-stop. Yeah? Oh, she should not have talked like that. Oh, this, oh, that. Oh, no. Oh, she should not talk about her son. Oh, all kinds of comments. Yeah. But she was addressing the community. Hii ni kitu ya nyumbani. Iwache kwa hiyo nyumba. Yeah, let them sort it out there. It has nothing to do with you. Why drag it into Kenyan politics? Actually, I know the reason why the deputy president's camp wanted to make sure that they cash in on it politically by dragging it out, yeah, for all Kenyans to analyze. The reason is that the deputy president wants the Mount Kenya region votes. And there's nothing wrong with that, except the circumstances under which he is trying to win the Mount Kenya votes is all wrong. It is bad. Because he has invaded his boss's bedroom. There's no other way of describing it. He has gone into the community of his boss. And as a slap in the face of his boss, some kind of revenge, he wants to make sure that he wins the president's backyard. That's really what it's about. Now you just put yourself in the president's shoes. Even if you don't like him. How would you have responded if it was you? You have a deputy, somebody who is supposed to be under you. You campaigned together, you won, supposedly, allegedly, and you governed the first term, and then you fell out. And then this fellow comes to your village and starts bad-mouthing you to villagers. Your relatives, your distant relatives. People have known you since you were a kid. How would you feel? Answer that. I believe what the deputy president is doing here is trying to prove to Uhuru Kenyatta that yes, you promised to support me in 2022, but even without your support, I will win the votes plus the votes in your village. That's what the deputy president is trying to say here. That's what he's trying to do. Rather emotionally. Yeah, and emotions and politics. And political strategy and decisions of what you're going to do politically. They don't mix. They don't. And they will never mix. And let me say, if I've not already said it, this thing will not end well for the deputy president. It won't. You can't go into somebody's bedroom and expect things to end well. How? It has never happened since the beginning of time. Yeah. Because what is going to happen in the end is that the deputy president is going to be ashamed. Like men who enter other men's bedrooms. The ending is always very predictable. I mean, even if something happens to you, people will ask you, ulikuwa nafanya nini kwa bedroom ya wenyewe? What were you doing in somebody else's bedroom? Eh? Yes, this has happened to you, but what were you doing in somebody else's bedroom? Folks, hate me, like me, support me. That is the naked truth. But I believe the most significant question here, yeah, the one which every Kenyan is asking, is what kind of impact is it going to have in the way the House of Mumbi votes on August 9th, 2022? Is it even going to have any impact? In my opinion, my considered, experienced opinion, the answer to that question is a resounding yes. Indeed, I believe we'll remember one day that this was the beginning of the end of the deputy president in the Mount Kenya region. Let me elaborate further. You know, many people have been trying to look around and search and find who will inherit the mantle from Uhuru Kenyatta as the leader, the political leader of the community. And they failed to find that person. And the reason is simple. That seat is not vacant. Uhuru Kenyatta will remain the leader of the community after 2022. That is very significant. And we have also been told the president will hit the campaign trail. He'll be campaigning. Yeah? And then we also know that in the Azimio agreement, the president, our current president, will have a 33.3% stake in that government, a third. Yeah. Now what all that tells you is that the Mount Kenya region is going to be protected and maintained by President Uhuru Kenyatta. And therefore, it is a huge mistake for any analyst to try and analyze the Mount Kenya region as a battle between Raila and Ruto. No, it's not. It is a battle between Uhuru Kenyatta and William Samoei Ruto. That's what it is. I mean, let us just be realistic. Tusidanganyane. Somebody invades your bedroom, gets right inside the bedroom, and then you retire comfortably and you relax and you do nothing about it. Does that sound realistic to you? Does that sound possible to you? Guys, let us get this Mount Kenya business straight. Let us understand it. Tusidanganyane, please. And so in a way, the First Lady, the former First Lady, was laying the ground for what is about to unfold in the Mount Kenya region, as far as intense campaigns are concerned for Team Azimio, yeah, which in the region will be led not by Raila Odinga, but by Uhuru Kenyatta. You know, those of us who have been analyzing politics for a long time remember very clearly 1997, when there was a very similar occurrence. A presidential candidate called Mwai Kibaki made inroads into the Rift Valley. Yeah. They were not inroads of Madarao, like the deputy president today. No. They were respectful inroads into the Rift Valley. President Daniel Arap Moi's backyard. Yeah. And what happened after that is that he became extremely popular in the Rift Valley. He could hold meetings and they were packed, standing room only. And then Moi started having problems. There were very few places in Rift Valley could hold meetings peacefully. There were always interruptions. He was booed. President Moi was booed. And going into that election, many people were sure that Mwai Kibaki was going to win a lot of votes in the Rift Valley. But what happened? The Kalenjin community voted almost to a man for Moi. And that is precisely what is going to happen in the Mount Kenya region. You do your analysis, do your calculation, do your fake polls, fanya zote kwa wingi. But on polling day, mtaona dust. This is political reality, my friends. We can't run away from it. Maybe somebody should start a channel, yeah, for daydreams and fairy tales, political daydreams and fairy tales. That should be interesting. But that's not what we're dealing with here. Here we're dealing with political reality. Yani wache mtu wa nyumbani, hata kama ni mwizi, hata kama ni muuaji, hata kama amefanya nini, umwache, upigie kura mgeni. Hiyo ulisikia wapi? Ulisikia wapi hiyo? Tell me, where did you hear that? And so, let the deputy president continue campaigning in the Mount Kenya region. It is his right. Let him continue his campaigns up to midnight every day. Yeah? But we can never run away from political reality. We can never run away from human nature. Never ever. And to make matters worse, anybody who understands the mindset of the Kikuyu and how they vote will tell you precisely what I have told you. In fact, leave out this Madarao business of somebody invading somebody's bedroom. Just leave it out. Let's assume it never happened. Yeah. And here we have two contestants. One is a hated son of the village. Hated son of the village. Another one is a foreigner in that region. So you think because they hate their son, they will vote for the foreigner? Okay. Tungoje tuone. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.